May game ba tayo this weekend? Yes, that is why we have our Minsan Football Show as always right here, brought to you by Upstream Sports TV. Glad you could join us as always. Center, this is Clara Manzano. I'll be hosting this episode. And if you are looking at your screen, on your left, you got Diego Cordero. He's in white. And we got Natasha Alcaraz Data in black. How is everybody doing? We got a full set of games. I'll start with you, Diego. You must be excited as always.
Yeah, very excited. Crunch time na sa PFL. So we have a game week and then a midweek again next week. So a lot to unpack and a lot to enjoy for sure.
Tama, tama. I assume same goes for you, Natasha, because we're nearing that end of the second round of sorts already. That's magcha-championship round pa tayo, let's remember.
Yeah, but it's shaping out to be such good games, and it's nice that the PFL is back constantly, week in, week out, midweek, as what Diego said, and we're really seeing how the teams are forming up with their new signings, which makes this part of the league so interesting because the teams are finally showing us who they've picked up during the window, and there are some that are really just rising above, and it's so exciting to see the caliber of players that are coming on in the PFL.
And with that, right, we're gonna see sino makakabawi in the second round, who's gonna be able to chase points or just protect whatever lead they have because of the signings that they got left and right. We're talking of air. I don't know if we can mention some yet, but that's why medyo excited pa rin tayo lalo with the upcoming games this weekend. And then yun, my game on Wednesday also. But we'll carry on, of course, and a message from our partners. Now, first, of course, is our official app, right? There you go. Download the app, scan the QR code right there. That is your go to, of course. Whether my Philippine football or whether my PFL in the weekend or not. There you go. Download it now. Just do enjoy. So, let's get to our previous match results. It was only one game day, as it's a Sunday, but it became a triple header, so that was action packed. I am a personal favorite of triple headers. You're able to maximize your ticket, your trip to the stadium. First and foremost, Kaya 9-1 versus Tuloy. Natasha, you covered that game, right? Tuloy's goal was not a consolation when they scored. It was actually close, and then Kaya just clicked AFC mode for them.
You'd feel that the first 50, 60 minutes of the game was actually back and forth. It was really interesting. Of course, Kaya coming from 3 games in 10 days. They weren't looking as sharp and as good. They also rotated their squad. But Tuloy, it's really, you're really seeing it in full display that they're a team that you cannot take on lightly, that when given a chance, they will test you. It was, as I mentioned a while ago, it was back to back, the first 50, 60 minutes. There were 2 goals only that happened in the first half, and they were both from set piece opportunities. From open play, I feel that it was Toloy that had more dangerous chances when they were attacking during that first half. But Kaya, of course, they were clinical with the set piece opportunities, even though from open play they weren't playing so well. But in the second half, Kaya made a triple substitution. They put in Mirbach, Esso, and Mike Ott. And these 3 players who are usually on your starting 11, when they were put on the pitch, you could tell the difference of how Kaya played when they had their top 3, those 2 key players on the attack, plus Esso, who is such a workhorse. And you don't even realize how good Esso is until that moment when he didn't start and he was put in the second half. The work rate that he puts in, he's not usually part of scoring the goals or getting the cross before the goal, but his work rate, it's pretty high. And I would say that he's one of those people inside the Kaya team, that midfield role actually, that have made it such night and day when it was their game against Tuloy. Because in the second half, Kaya ended up, though Tuloy scored a goal right when the second half started, but from the 60th or 58th minute to the 68th, they scored 4 or 5 goals in 10 minutes. And that was all care of Ott, Mirbach, these players connecting. And we all know it in the numbers. Mike Ott is a player with the most number of assists and goals for Kaya. So you know that when he's put on, that he's a game changer. So he's proving to be such a great signing for Kaya during the start of the season. And then you double it up with Mirbach, who's showing us that he's such a great signing as well. Martini Ray as well, another player that's usually coming off the bench, now getting more minutes, and you see him scoring those goals as well. Of course, after the 60 minutes, Tuloy really broke down. They were tired. But for the 60 minutes, you have to applaud what these young players were able to do. But eventually, Kaya just took on the reins and 9 goals. That's a massive scoreline. They outdid themselves from the first time that they went against Tuloy.
They had a very balanced attack, and in this case, it wasn't essentially Mirbach getting a hat trick, although we've seen that already. Because when you're in Rizal Memorial, when you hear David Yumol say a player's name in a different way, in his signature way, that means magaling siya. That's all I could say. Wrapping up that game of Kaya versus Tuloy. What game, Jago, do you want to break down from last weekend?
I could probably do the game that followed this. So I believe the game was that followed this. Actually, I believe you did. Actually, no. It was actually a quadruple header, no? Last Sunday, technically, with one
Yes,
game
because of Cebu.
being in Cebu. Yeah.
Tama.
So actually, I can do the Cebu game. We can go chronologically, but again, Cebu showing that the home court advantage or the home stadium advantage is real. Um, it must be said it's a favorable run of games, but they take advantage of it nonetheless. You know, you can only play who's in front of you. Actually, for this game, I was kind of surprised that at halftime it was only 1-0. So Mendiola actually kept it scoreless until the 46th minute. But then after that, Cebu just turned on the Jets. They're gaining momentum now. I think, no other team in the PFL that's in this title race can say that they're going to have the home crowd boosting them in this title race and in this race for AFC spots. Only Cebu can say that. And yeah, it looks like whenever Cebu play at home, they have that 12th man. You saw it again there. Um, for Cebu, I was really impressed by Asano, their new striker. Again, they lost Andes in the transfer window, but they've signed really well in that striking position, and he looks to be a real marksman in the PFL. So exciting that Kaya got that new striker. He's scoring goals. Asano is scoring goals for Cebu, and yeah, the transfer window by my count is actually still open. So let's see what these new signings are able to do for these new teams. But for Cebu, they'll be very happy with Asano so far.
Who's gonna burn the midnight oil? No, that's my transfer bigla. So anyway, the scorers in that win of Cebu over Valenzuela PB Mendiola. Asano with the brace, and Kazuha Sudo added one, as is the case with Victor Luis and Joshua Brose, and then Joseph Seniza got the clean sheet. They rested Rami Jaridi, but we know what Joseph Senido can do. And I will just say, advantage, it's because of the cafe. I will testify myself getting to visit that. I hope you guys get to try that too one day. Before we jump ship to another game, what is interesting, Valenzuela PB Menjola, they only had 15 players on the roster. Kasama na dun starting 11, syempre. And then they only had 4 subs. So I think that's a case also where Cebu just got to push them in terms of stamina, endurance, and we want to give a shout out to Francis Leo Messi official. That's quite a long name, and I think it's a legit name also. So shout out to you. Thank you very much for catching the Amin San Football Show. And on to our other games. We were talking about that, right? There's the Stallion game also versus Maharlika. That was 1-all. It was Charlie Beaton who scored. I mean, yes, Beaton had stints in Stallion, Loyola, and other teams, but fresh off playing for Stallion again, and then he gets to score here. And Beaton saw the highs and lows of Maharlika FC. Actually, he was there in the pandemic in their inaugural squad or the OG squad, and then he's here now in an era where they really just changed up the way they run the team. And it was who's the goal scorer here? It was Kevin Benemokata, the bulldozer himself, who leveled the scoreline in the 88th minute. Did you expect this game to end as a one-all draw, Natasha? Just to look at the big picture.
No, if you base it on Stallion's performance going against Aguilas with their new signings, especially having Baji there as that center back, Osman Baji, who I feel is one of the best signings this window alongside Maluma.
Good afternoon, everyone, and PFL fans. So welcome back to the Rizal Memorial Stadium. We're back for more football action as we kick off the first match of the day for our triple header. My name is Vinny Vincolado, alongside Diego Cordero. This is match number 76, and we're excited to bring you this one. Valenzuela, PB Mendiola FC up against Maharlika FC. Diego, this matchup is fascinating because both sides are fighting for very different reasons. You have Maharlika, who's constantly there trying to push themselves into the top six, while Valenzuela, PB Mendiola, on the other hand, are struggling at the bottom of the table. Any upcoming expectations going into this match?
Yeah, both of these teams are going to be eager to get that win today or to get a good result because they've not had a good start to 2026. Some lovely weather here at the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium. But yeah, both of these teams, they lost quite a number of games for their past few matches. So today is their biggest chance really to get to a winning start in 2026. Again, both of these teams, they're pointless actually. Actually, no, Maharlika have 1 point in 2026. But I mean, if you look at their calendar year so far, it's not been ideal. And yeah, today it's a bit later into the calendar year, but it's a chance for both of these teams to finally get up and running in 2026.
And as you can see on the screens, we did have their matchup last year. Maharlika won 7-0 against Valenzuela PB Mendiola. And syempre, we're expecting Valenzuela gusto naman nila bounce back against Maharlika for today.
Yeah, this match was actually interesting because it was a very good performance for Maharlika. It's one of those performances that makes you think they can actually break into the top six. For Mendiola, actually, if I remember correctly in this match, it was still 1-0 when they had the penalty that was missed. So they definitely want to exact, revenge because of the way that this match went in the first round. And yeah, for Maharlika, they have that advantage now psychologically because they know that they beat them before earlier in the season. So they can definitely do it again today.
So we'll see it later on if Mendiola has the guts to get their boots on the ground against Maharlika, or will Maharlika continue their winning streak against Valenzuela PB Mendiola?
Yeah, what's interesting also about this is, both of these teams, you did mention that they're fighting for very different reasons, but they're probably not where they want to be at the table. So you have, Maharlika who's trying to break into the top six, which they're falling out of at the moment. They're currently at 7th. And then obviously Mendiola are, only have one win and they're still in that bottom part of the table, only second to the bottom. Only below them is Philippine Army. So Mendiola, for sure, they want to continue to make an improvement in their season.
Definitely. And And speaking of improvement, they have a lot of catching up to do. And the challenge has only grown harder with the departure of some key players. As mentioned, Diego, as I remember, Takardon left, Isaac Ano left. So there's a lot of adjustments for this team in terms of the lineup.
Yeah, the transfer window has affected a lot of PFL teams, including Mendiola. So they lost those key players that you mentioned, Vinny. But they also did make some new signings. They had to actually, in order to continue to chase their goals. Again, the transfer window, it's pretty long in the PFL. So it was open in January. It's still open until now, actually. It's going to be open until Feb 25. So a lot of teams are still chopping and changing, including Valenzuela, PB Mendiola, who, if you look at their starting 11, there's actually a lot of new players. There are holdovers from the first round, but there are new signings, and they'll be hoping that these new signings sort of rejuvenate their season because it's not been ideal so far.
So this is Jake Kuyangkong's 4-4-2 formation for Valenzuela PB Mendiola. I do see a Yon Imbida. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a player from Don Bosco. So this is very interesting to see. But for now, we'll take a look on the player to watch here, Diego. So can you share with us our player to watch?
Yeah, so one of those new signings was Johan Embida, as you can see in your picture. So he was in Don Bosco for the first part of the PFL season. Now jumped ship to Valenzuela PB Mendiola. They're going to be hoping that a new signing, a new attacking signing, it's something that they can bounce off of. They can get that new signing momentum. And yeah, Johan Embida will also be hoping that he found a new home. He'll be hoping to get a good start. And today's a chance for him to make a good performance. He scored goals already this season for Don Bosco. Let's see if he can convert that as well for Mendiola.
All right, so with that said, let's throw it over for head coach Jake Kuyangkong's words.
Step by step. And the Maharlika very good team. And Mendiola not yet and the low level. They and on the good game and then small goal and the many player changing and they try. But hard to
As you can see there, head coach Jake Kuyangkong, and he just mentioned there's a lot of changes, so a lot of different players in different positions. So we'll see how that will have an effect into the game. Now let's take it over to Maharlika FC. They are currently in the 7th place, and they're not in a and that's a position they don't want to be in. Again, they want to be top 4, but the results aren't going their way, Diego.
Yeah, they'll be a bit disappointed at that actually because they ended 2025 on a high note. They ended 2025 in the top 6, just about with that win over Stallion. But since then, it's actually been winless run of 4 games. So they have 3 losses on the bounce. And then last week against Stallion, they were winning until the 88th minute, but lost. So out of a possible 16 points, they only have 1. So that's definitely not how they wanted to start 2026. However, this is a match that they will highlight as one of those matches they can actually win and win confidently and use it as maybe of a confidence booster to make them gain a bit more momentum that they lost so that they can continue their top 6 charge. Again, they started the season saying they wanted to finish in the top 4. A bit far from that now, but a top 6 race is still open and they're definitely still in it. However, they need to get points sooner rather than later.
And with that said, we do have here the formation 4-4-2 for head coach Mono Hong. We do have a couple of suspects here. You have Park Yun-sung as a defender, but we do have Dini Utara will be subbing in between the sticks for Kenry Balobo and Enzo Lucindo. So any thoughts on some of the new faces coming into this match?
Yeah, both new faces and a rotation from Coach Moon Hong this afternoon. So we did mention that they had a lot of games already in 2026. That means that you need to rotate your squad, you need to give some players rest, and you need to give some players who want to prove themselves to break into that starting 11. You need to give them the chance to do just that. And yeah, it's a rotated squad. You even see Utara there, so even the goalkeeper's been rotated. And it's a chance actually for Maharlika to rest their usual suspects, but at the same time, it's still a good enough team to get all of those 3 points this afternoon.
And a big player to watch here, Jorel Aristorenas, who is the captain actually for today's match. A very versatile midfielder. He definitely helps in both the attacking and defensive end for his respective teams. Any upcoming expectations for him, Diego?
Yeah, Aristorenas, definitely an experienced player. And yeah, you mentioned that he's the captain of the team, so it's his job really to lead by example. And yeah, given his position on the pitch, it's also his job to start attacks, maybe even finish attacks. Played really well when these two teams last met. He'll be hoping for a similar performance again.
All right, so with that said, we'll throw it over to head coach Moon Hong for some words.
I think last 4 games we played this season, we lost 3 and then drew 1 game. So we're actually looking for a win and we're desperate to win. So we're gonna play how we've been playing, but play some rotations as well. So I hope the boys can go out there and play our football and win this game.
Bit for head coach Moon Hong. As mentioned, it has been a difficult start of the year. I mean, they lost against Gig, against Kaya twice, and that 1-1 stalemate against Stallion. But now, as mentioned, as they want to go top 6, so they'll definitely need to get a win against Valenzuela PB Mendiola.
Yeah, they're 1 point adrift of that top 6 portion of the table, but at the same time, they have more games played than their direct rivals. So there is a lot of ground that they need to make up in terms of results and results quickly. Today is definitely a chance for them to get maximum points, and they're going to need it, to get that momentum. Again, their next match is also not an easy match. They have to travel away to Cebu. So that's a lot of big games they played in the first part of 2026. However, it also means that you get those big results out of the way and you gain momentum slowly and surely throughout the season. The race for top 6 is still wide open, and Maharlika are really in that race. It's up to them really to make sure that they remain in that race towards the end of the season and they take maximum points in the rest of their matches.
All right, so for now, we'll take it down to the field for the pre-match ceremonies. kickoff approaching. Again, thank you for joining us. It's Valenzuela PB Mendiola FC against Maharlika FC. Live here at Rizal Memorial Stadium, and we are just moments away before our match. And you can take a look here at our first 11 for Valenzuela PB Mendiola. Again, as mentioned a while ago, they did take a big hit on the transfer window, but they also included a lot of additional players as well. We do have new names in our list, so we'll see if these players have an impact on the game.
Definitely. Again, the season ongoing, despite the transfer window happening, it means there's a chance for these teams to see where they need to adjust and make additions. I believe both sides really have lost key players, but at the same time, they've made additions, and there is still a few days left in the transfer window. It won't be surprised also if either of these sides continue to make additions in the transfer windows. But for this afternoon, you see the starting 11s for both teams. It's going to be game, set, and match.
You have here Maharlika FC's first 11, some usual suspects as well. And you do have McLeod there, who was the man of the match against Stallion last time. So he'll definitely make sure to keep his defense rock steady, or even a clean sheet maybe, against Valenzuela PB Mendiola. And you do have a lot of firepower from both sides with these substitutes.
Yeah, McLeod in particular, a bit of a resurgence for him. Wasn't in the starting 11 as much when 2025 ended, but come 2026, been back into the thick of things. Again, man of the match against Stallion. He also played well against Kaya, if I recall correctly, and he played in midfield for that game. Definitely a good addition, and yeah, he's been given the trust to start this afternoon. Again, it's a rotated side from Maharlika, but nonetheless, there's enough quality there for them to get all 3 points.
Just waiting for the whistle of the referee, Jesus Abogado. Again, this is Valenzuela PB Mendiola FC against Maharlika FC. Valenzuela PB Mendiola playing from right to left in their red and black jerseys, and Maharlika FC in their blue and white jerseys playing from left to right. This matchup will definitely see, Diego, that Maharlika would like to keep possession of the ball. And Valenzuela PB Mendiola trying to at least keep a clean sheet for starters for the first half. So we'll see how will that pan out in this first half.
Yeah, for sure. I'm expecting Maharlika to have a lot of possession in this type of area of the pitch. I think Mendiola are going to be happy with just allowing them to sit deep and allowing their opponents to control the ball. I don't think they'll mind too much as long as they're compact and they're defensively solid.
You can see here at the left wing in the middle. Good clearance there from Mendiola defense. Those are warning signs. That is Fahim Ibrahim at the left flank, who's a very dangerous winger.
Yeah, at the same time, we did mention Mendiola. They want to stay compact and solid, but you know, in moments where you fall asleep, doesn't matter how compact you are, if you fall asleep, you will get punished, especially against high-level opposition. That was a warning sign already.
And here comes another Fahim Ibrahim. Tackled down, no foul called. A chance maybe for the men in red to move forward. But great defensive work, Cho, earning his team a throw in.
Good start to this game for Maharlika. Again, you know, the onus is on them to control this match and regain control of their top 6 race. And you should also take advantage of the fact that Mendiola, you know, they played in Cebu, they had to travel, so they might be a bit fatigued at the moment.
Ooh. Shot taken. Taking a look at the call there. And it seems like a free kick just outside the box. Good opportunity for Maharlika to take advantage of. And if there's something I learned from head coach Moon Hong. He loves doing set pieces.
Yeah, a lot of his set pieces are pre-planned and clever, so they work it out from the training ground. This is a chance, though, maybe for a direct shot on target because of how close it is to the goal. In fact, it might even be too close to the goal. I'm not sure how much space there is for a shot to be taken and get up and over the wall and back into the frame of goal. But nevertheless, it's going to be a big chance for Maharlika.
We have here Ali from Valenzuela between the post, making sure his wall is intact. Maharlika with the free kick. Will he go direct? Takes it just over the crossbar.
Yeah, again, because of how close it was to the goal, angle didn't really favor a shot. It had to be absolutely perfect. Not enough space to get that over the wall and back under. So Mendiola are going to escape. It was a bit of a naive tackle and foul actually to make in that area of the pitch, but they escape, so pressure is relieved. But nevertheless, it was a good start from Maharlika to this game. They're controlling the match. I don't even think Mendiola have had a touch in the other half of the pitch until this point. So need to be careful actually not to drop ever so deep.
Ali sends it forward. All in the middle of the park. No foul given, play goes on. Very aggressive here. That is Fofana. Committed that foul. As Maharlika played it quick.
Yeah, Maharlika have been good. They've been very sharp, very quick to react positively whenever they lose the ball. You can see Cho there when he lost the ball, won it back right away and then won the foul. So that's a good reaction and mentality from Maharlika so far. The intensity has been coming all from the blue shirts in this match. Again, Mendiola just need to be careful not to allow this match become heavily one-sided.
Foot race. Lot of traffic, but an opening. Makes it, takes it. A deflection, but just a wrong side of the post. And you could see McLeod complaining to the ref that he was pushed, I think. Here is the altercation. But a great opportunity for Valenzuela on the break.
Yeah, it's just a pure 50-50 challenge that McLeod is pulled into. And he was outstrength there. It was a chance out of nothing, really, from Mendiola.
Now Mendiola, the other side of the pitch, causing trouble naman. The men in blue, they do have this corner kick. A lot of movement in the box, floats it in. Of deflection, but a chance for a counter. Aristorenas. On the other side of the pitch, a counter attack here. Joe cuts it in. Outside of the box, takes it. Just lacked the power. Straight to the hands of Ali. What a fast counter there from Maharlika, Diego.
Yeah, good counter, good transition, good positive work rate from Maharlika. You could see the moment that the counter was on, a lot of players storming forward, including Cho, who looks to be doing a lot of the good attacking for Maharlika at this point, as we saw a little bit of juggling from the goalkeeper of Mendiola.
See there, Ali easing in the forward of Maharlika. Again, the captain, Aristorenas. Foul off the ball. Brahim, very animated in his complaint. Just 7 minutes in. You can see how heated this game is.
Yeah, Fami doesn't realize that there's a player behind him, but he does win the foul.
Quick play here from the free kick. Playing 1-2, just couldn't find Aristorenas that time. Gracia playing right back, who came from Tuloy FC, a new signing for Maharlika.
Yeah, Hiren De Gracia has been really good for Maharlika in the few games that he's played. Was very quietly announced that he signed for Maharlika, but really stood out with his performances in the big games, and he even scored against Kaya. So it's been very impressive for him so far in his new club. Looks to be right into the starting 11 in his new team. Congratulations to him, and another good product of the Tuloy program.
And seems like he's settling into his position. He fits the plans of head coach Moon Hong. We'll definitely see a good performance for him coming into this match. Meanwhile, we do have a free kick here for Valenzuela PB Mendiola.
And Mendiola just want to slow this game down. And they're not afraid to go long and go direct, because when they try to play out, the pressure is intense from Maharlika. And they actually do well here because they win a free kick high up the pitch. So, it's not the prettiest way to get up the pitch, but it worked out in that scenario.
Free kick here on the Maharlika half. See there, McLeod making sure his defense is intact. Still waiting for the whistle blow for this one. Seems like he'll float this one in. Ooh, straight at the keeper, Bini Utara, who's been called up into today's match, and Kenny Balobo, who's their usual starter, sits this one out.
Yeah, squad rotation from Coach Moon Hong. So no Balobo, no Menzi also, who's played the most minutes in the entire PFL. It's going to be given the rest in this afternoon.
Mid pass there from McLeod to Ibrahim. Good spot. Corner flag. And it is a goal kick for the men in red.
Ibrahim, been given the start this afternoon. Already 1 or 2 moments where he's just tried to run in behind his defender. Just want to give a quick shout out to him also for being another PFL player to be called up to a foreign national team. So he was called up to the Eritrea national team in Africa. So congratulations also to him. And yeah, we have another international player in the PFL. So it's good to see that talent is being spotted from all over the world.
Speaking of talent, we do have a game later on after this one. It is Kaya FC versus Wantagig at 7 p.m. So do stay tuned for that. And later at 5 p.m. you do have Tuloy and Dynamic Herb Cebu. A lot of games for today's triple header this Saturday.
And Maharlika in particular will be watching that game closely because they also go to Cebu next week, but they're also just keeping an eye over their shoulder at the movements of Tuloy, way away from the top 7. But if they continue to build momentum the way they are, Tuloy could eventually close the gap later on in the season.
Maharlika here earned themselves a corner kick. It is Park will be taking this one. I have seen Maharlika score a couple of goals from a set piece here. Just stutters there a bit. Park trying to reshuffle the play, it looks like. Delivers it in. Ooh. And a goal already. Enzo Lucinto gets his already. Enzo Lucinto gets his head in. And it is 1-0. Maharlika leading just in 12 minutes from that set piece.
Yeah, they got the first contact. The initial contact actually was headed onto the post, but Mendiola couldn't react faster. And And yeah, it's been coming, it must be said, because all the pressure's been coming from Maharlika. But again, for Mendiola, they'll be frustrated at how easily they conceded a goal via a set piece, which Maharlika have already done earlier this season. They do it again this afternoon. Here's the replay. So the initial cross comes in, and a replay didn't really show it, but you see the right place, right time. So good goal from him.
And of course, as a defender, definitely be really happy scoring goals. Don't get that much opportunities up front. Speaking of going up front, gusto pumawi dito ang Valenzuela. Have the ball, the left side. Crosses it in. Pressure still on. On Imbida. Great work rate and a shot taken by Soberano. But the angle was just too far. But here is that goal earlier. And so Lucindo, the keeper actually got to punch it out. But luckily, Lucindo was there to head it in.
Yeah, very chaotic goal. Yeah, good header from Lucindo. Good awareness from him, even though he's a back. You were to head that ball.
Another great long ball again from McLeod to Ibrahim at the left side. Got his pocket there. Trying to push forward the left side. Edgy Sulit thinks about getting a through ball, but just takes it. Out of bodies there. Or Maharlika. Looks like it was a throw in. Foul throw, I think. But possession for Maharlika.
Yeah, Maharlika, before the afternoon started, they had, according to Transfermarkt, they had 13 different goal scorers. So it's good to see that they can distribute goals among different players. You're not relying on only one source or a couple of sources for your goals, but instead it can come from anywhere in the team. Again, Enzo Lucindo, the center back on the score sheet. So I think that's a good thing for a team to have, that you can have multiple goal scorers. And yeah, Maharlika definitely have that. So Coach Munhong, he'll be happy with the way his team has started this afternoon. Coach Munhong, by the way, was not on the touchline, but in the stands, I do wonder if there's any suspension that he is serving.
And it goes to show how important systems are, you know. And I think head coach Munhong definitely made a good system for everyone to get a chance up front, score goals, and defensively as well. Embida has been busy up front, trying to make something happen this game.
Yeah, the thing is with Embida, he is trying to make things happen, but he's so isolated whenever he's going on those attacks. And it doesn't matter how good you are, if you're up against 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 situations, you can only do so much. So it's up to the midfield of Mendiola to, you know, venture a little bit more forward and help him out.
A bit of miscommunication. An open goal. Aristorenas passes to Ibrahim. They take the shot. Another opportunity there to double the lead. Maharlika. And off screen, see Ali down from the previous sequence of events. Just asking for medic. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, hopefully he is okay, because I'm looking at our start list, Vinny, and there is no goalkeeper on the bench of Valenzuela PB Mendiola. So this is their only available goalkeeper. This afternoon. There's no one warming up in the warm-up area for Mendiola. So worst case scenario is an outfield player is gonna go in goal, which is very, you know, that's a very tough situation to be in, especially if you're 1-0 down against a team that's ahead. We'll be hoping he's okay. He's back up on his feet. He needs to stay fit for this match at least.
A bit of a scare there for the men in red. definitely do not want an infield player going in as a keeper. All seems well as we resume the match.
Yeah, the thing about that as well was Maharlika also nearly scored their second goal. It was Mendiola's backline playing with fire. And yeah, there was a moment there was an open net. Mendiola are really fortunate actually not to be 2 goals behind, because Maharlika have definitely had the openings. And if the game continues at this rate, you imagine that the next goal will come from Maharlika.
And it has been a difficult season for Valenzuela. They've lost a couple of players, but they have reinforced squad as well. As of now, those reinforcements hasn't really had an impact into this match. Great alert clearance there from Felicia. And it is another corner for Maharlika.
Yeah, there needs to be better defending here from Mendiola. First contact needs to be from a red shirt, can't be from a blue one, otherwise similar scenario could happen. You have really tall targets in there for Maharlika, in McLeod and Lucindo, and even Fami, as there's actually a player down for Mendiola, so opening 19 minutes has been a very opening start to this match.
That is Victor Carlos Felicia, who is down. It seems like he's asking for the medic. Just 20 minutes in. We already had 2 players down for Valenzuela. First the keeper, and now a midfielder. Very concerning for head coach Jake Maikong. Yes, he is being led out. And as it stands, there are only 10 players for Valenzuela with this corner kick. Getting the spray off screen. Hopefully he'll be good. Play has resumed. There is a lot of pushing and tugging. In front of the box there. Seems like another set piece. Opportunity here, takes it. Good try there from Major Dine Barle.
Yeah, again, another example there that Maharlika, they're really fond of these set pieces which are pre-planned and rehearsed in training. Didn't quite execute it there. I'm sure in training, Varler probably put that into the top order once or twice. But again, it's a very fun thing to watch as a neutral fan. You see these teams try to find different solutions.
We did see there a handball, but I think he was pushed as he tried to get a head in. But play resumes. Left side here, just miscontrols it. Reggie Sulit. Pressure still on. And it seems like Diego, the first 20 minutes of the match, we already have like roughly 6, 7 fouls. So it was definitely a physical match for these both teams.
Yeah, again, Maharlika really trying to impose themselves tactically and physically, and they've done that so far. Again, for Valenzuela, PB Mendiola, you know, they're 1-0 down, and if we didn't see the scoreline, you might not realize it, but that's because they're just dropping deeper and deeper into their own half and just allowing Maharlika even more control on this match.
Best thing Mendiola can do now is sit back and try not to concede any more goals. maybe try to play on a counter or build up slowly. Haven't really seen a string of passes for the men in red. This may be an opportunity for them to do so.
Again, it's so disappointing for Mendiola because when they played against Cebu, all right, they lost 5-0. But at halftime, actually at the 46th minute of the first half, after additional time, it was 0-0. So they were able to hold Cebu in their home ground for one half. They'll be disappointed at how early they went behind here.
Good to see Johan Imbida hustling, making something out of nothing. The forward position. Again, he has no one to pass to up front.
Exactly, Vinny, exactly. Because he's so isolated whenever he tries to get forward. He has a strike partner in Onyeko Owi, but every isolated whenever he tries to get forward. He has a strike partner in Onyeko Owi, but every time Embiid tries to find someone to pass to, there's no one really near him. And yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for him that he's trying to exert so much effort. He's just unable really to link up with any of his strike partners.
Again, maybe chemistry has to come into this. Again, he is a new signing, Johan Imbida, and you can see they're off screen. They are chatting, making sure that they get their attacking play right. Where to go, where to pass. Definitely a department that they have to work in. The chance here for Maharlika. Fahim Ibrahim chips it. And it is offside. Unlucky for the winger.
Mendiola have to be really careful here because it almost feels like they're second best to every physical duel that they're finding themselves in. Maharlika, they're just playing with the swagger at the moment, which goes to show how much control they have on this match. Again, Dini Utara has yet to be tested in these opening 25 minutes. At the same time, that's also a testament to the control and pressure that Maharlika have applied. But again, if you're Mendiola, you want to see some more substance in their play. You can really see the difference actually when both teams don't have the ball. The intensity levels from Maharlika are so high and they react positively. But when Mendiola lose the ball, the reaction is not that positive and they end up dropping into this shape, which just allows even more control to Maharlika, which is okay if the score was still 0-0. But, you know, you're behind, so the onus is on you to take control of this match.
I think the word that comes into mind is aggressive. These boys made sure that's their mentality with the ball and off the ball. And that's the type of attitude you want, especially if you want to get into that top 4 spot. That's what's also lacking for Mendiola, that aggressiveness, intensity, and the build-up play as well. All we've seen from them as of now, just long balls from the keeper. Hoping they can make something out of it.
Yeah, again, Mendiola, their last win was in match day 2 of the PFL. So that was all the way back when the season started, and that was a 1-0 win against Philippine Army. They're actually still yet to score a goal in 2026, so that's a record that they definitely need to break sooner rather than later. Could do it in this match. And because at the moment, the year has not been going their way, they actually risk really finishing bottom of the PFL because Philippine Army have just started to score a little bit more goals. Again, I think that's a record no one wants for you to finish in the bottom or last 2 of the PFL table.
You see there, Mendiola holding for dear life as they try to play here on the counter. Moving forward with the ball. Sulit. Just couldn't get it to Johan Imbida. Session now. Maharlika. Ristorenas, out of traffic, trying to get through. I'm Ibrahim. Takes it. It is out for a goal kick for Mendiola.
I think this is a water break also called by the referee, but it's going to be a good break actually for Mendiola because they just need to regroup. They're reeling from the first 25 minutes. In all honesty, they're a bit lucky that it's not more than 1-0. And yeah, it's a chance for the coaching staff really to make some much needed adjustment for Maharlika. I'm sure the message from the coaches are going to be more of the same, please, for the rest of this match because if you look at the shot count, they have triple of Mendiola's. But even Mendiola's 3 shots, none of them were able to test the goalkeeper, while Maharlika really troubled their opposition's back line.
You can see here, Yon Imbida passing it to Soberano. That shot outside the box. Fortunately, it was off target. And here's the miscommunication between the keeper and his back line. Was just not sure where Ibrahim was going there. Could have taken the shot on goal. And as it stands, it's all Maharlika. First part of this match.
Yeah, and Maharlika being ahead, they're really in a good position to control the rest of this match. This season, they've been ahead 8 times against all the other teams, and out of those 8 times, including this one, they've won 5 of those. So most of the time when they go ahead in matches, they do end up winning, especially against teams that they're above in the table. Last week, however, they conceded that last-minute equalizer to Stallion, which really was a sucker punch for them because they performed well in that match, served 3 points, and ended up only getting 1.
They really did against Stallion. But it goes to show they can definitely compete and play with much bigger clubs. It's just that there are a couple of defensive lapses from Maharlika. Sometimes they do fall asleep. And with that, they concede goals that are self-inflicted at times as well.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, Vinny. They perform well in big matches, but the fighting margins makes it so that even one mistake and you could lose the game 1-0. That's what happened, against the Gig, and then against Kaya, performed well and conceded in the second half. So it's been the story of their season so far, but it does show that they can compete.
Story definitely head coach Moon Hong would like to change in terms of the results. They want to be more consistent in winning those crucial matches. And at the start of this year, they haven't won a game yet. So they're hoping to look for a more positive result to get their momentum up and running. But as of now, Venezuela beating Mendiola. It's a free kick. Still haven't made an impact into this match. Great build-up play. Passes it through Aristorenas. Chips it over. It is offside, but he also missed that opportunity, so it wouldn't matter. But another great chance nonetheless.
Just didn't curl his run enough, but that was a good build-up play from Maharlika. You can see the fluidity in their team, despite the fact that it's a semi-rotated lineup. There is that chemistry already that's been instilled by Coach Moon Hong, and that was very impressive from the build-up actually. When you look at their previous games as well, and even their goal against Stallion, build-up is one of their strong points. They know how to beat press, and they know how to manipulate their opposition, like they might again here.
Ooh, a tough challenge there on Joe. So he moves forward there as a right wing, and a yellow card has been given for Victor Carlos Felicia. Let's take a look at that foul again. And he was through. Free kick here for Maharlika.
Again, that's been the story of the afternoon so far. Mendiola have been second best to all of those types of challenges. It was a yellow card. You could actually see that when Felicia got the yellow card. No protest. So ibig sabihin,
Guilty as
guilty.
charged.
But it also means that, he's put his team in a hard position now. Because, again, Maharlika scored from a set piece earlier. They have another one here.
And it is Park behind the ball. Pretty strong. Ooh. Over the top. That did look close, Diego. Maybe could have crept in.
It's very smart from Park, actually, because I just realized it now. He's trying to make the goalkeeper look at the sun from that angle of that free kick.
So nasilaw siya.
Yeah. And actually, it looked for a moment that the goalkeeper lost where the ball was. But yeah, that was a big chance. Again, Mendiola, they're a bit lucky, really, that they're not being punished for the amount of mistakes that they're, unfortunately for them, that they're committing.
All in the air. Dangerous. But doesn't warrant a foul. Vida. Great string of passes for Mendiola. Reggie Sulit tries to cross it in but couldn't find anyone. Sayang na naman yun, Diego. There has been opportunities for Valenzuela to really push forward. They're just lacking that crucial pass to set up the shot for goal.
Yeah, they haven't had any real chances yet, but they've ventured into the half of Maharlika once or twice. They're just unable really to, be efficient with the little possession that they do have. And if you're going to be a team that has only so little possession in a match, you need to make sure that you're, fluid and you maximize it whenever you do have it.
As mentioned, Mendiola, most of their attacks actually are on the left side. We've had a couple of strings of passes. Kulang na lang talaga is that attacking third. You have your Maharlika. Dominant display of possession. Commentators curse. They lost possession, but they get it back. Ooh. That's what you like about in a team, no? When you lose possession as much as possible, you want to close in down on the opposing team to get possession back.
Yeah, that's what a lot of coaches call counter-pressing. So the moment you lose the ball, how well can you, swarm to get the ball back? Maharlika do that very well. Even in matches that they do lose, there's another example of it. It's Fami that time. So on Maharlika do that very well. Even in matches that they do lose, there's another example of it. It's Fami that time. So on one side, you have a team here that's really eager to get on the ball. You see a lot of these players, they like to drop into the midfield and ask for possession of the ball. So they're not afraid of the ball, but they're also not afraid to do the dirty work. When you lose the ball, they're afraid, or they're not afraid also to really put in that extra effort just to win back possession in a good area. And yeah, when the game is in this state, it's really their game.
Definitely, and this is an important ingredient, I guess. But let me delay that thought as Aristo Renas gets it in. What a goal! Gets it at the top left frame of the goal. Look at that celebration. I think that's Gyökeres.
Yeah, that's Gyökeres. But that was a really good goal from Maharlika. Just as we were talking about their build-up and their willingness to play a certain style, score a goal straight out of the philosophy of Coach Moon Hong. Here it is, great build-up play in such a tight area. Technical play from their technical players, keeping possession in a tight space. And yeah, Aristarena's weak-footed finish doesn't matter for him. Into the top corner, into the near post. Really good goal from Maharlika. And, they deserve this goal. They should have had it earlier, they will feel. And they finally get it.
You can see there, Valenzuela scrambling, trying to get that ball away. But the passes, as mentioned by Diego, they're really precise. Very tight as well. somehow they get through that defense, and Arenas just boots it with his weak foot. A great goal for Maharlika.
Yeah, the only downside to that goal was the Gyökeres celebration. Sorry, I'm not an Arsenal fan. But yeah, what a goal nonetheless from Arenas.
That has been the story this first half. Maharlika being dominant in possession, scoring goals, moving forward, such as this. You could see Gracia, who was very eager to score, but I think he had better options to pass that one.
Yeah, but you could see they're excited whenever they go forward. They can sense that there are openings every time they get into the second half or get into the other half.
And you can see Mbida steals the ball, takes it, and it is a goal! Bumawi dito ang Valenzuela, hindi Mendiola. What a goal that is, Diego. And this is what we mentioned earlier, caught sleeping Maharlika. I thought they were comfortably keeping possession, but Yon Mbida, who's always aggressive, pressing defense, finally makes something out of it, and he earned himself and his team a goal.
Yeah, this is a goal straight out of nothing. Not really too sure what happened, mix-up between Maharlika's backline, but you know, that's a first goal of 2026 for Valenzuela, PB Mendiola, and you know, as a neutral, I'm happy now that this match is
Records.
Yeah, that's right, and it's back to a one-goal game. It means that this match, from out of nowhere, really, it's back on. And you know, if you're Maharlika, you'll be so frustrated because when you went up 2-0, it meant that you should have been in control of this match for the rest of the 90 minutes. But all of a sudden, you know, it's just that scenario again. They fall asleep and they get punished.
From a Maharlika perspective, these are the type of games that you have to dominate. Clean sheet is a must. And as you mentioned, the word is disappointment. You can see here, another pressure from Soberano. And we've been talking about it all the time, Diego. They get caught sleeping sometimes. And that's a prime example that happens with this Maharlika team.
Yeah, you know, if you do those against the top teams, you get punished. But even against the teams that are not in the top of the table, you cannot afford to make those types of mistakes. Because at the end of the day, these are still players that, you know, when they have those opportunities, they will take them. And be the through-on goal, I'm 100% sure he was thinking that this match was going to go on and he wasn't going to get a chance like that. He ended up taking it, so good goal from him as well.
Yeah, take nothing away. I mean, Valenzuela, they've been on the defensive end of this match. Pero at least now nakabawi sila. Somehow scored a goal. And we do see a yellow card given to Fahmi Ibrahim with a pull on number 77 of Valenzuela. Here is that foul, the tug. More of a duty foul, that is.
Yeah, professional foul from Maharlika. But again, you know, Mendiola were asleep in this match, and all of a sudden, they're smelling a little bit of blood.
And that's a good sign. We do want a match full of action. That's currently what we're getting. And you can see now, Mendiola wins possession of the ball. And best case scenario, they try to get another goal before halftime to make the match a draw.
Yeah, at the same time, again, these two teams already met this season. It was a 7-0 victory for Mendiola. They'll be happy, Mendiola, at least that it's not going to go the same way. Because that night, they were really, you know, second best to everything in that match. Good thing for them, they are back in this match. And again, it's from absolutely nothing. But if you're Mendiola, you'll take that nonetheless.
Well, the game's starting to open up a bit. And this few more minutes into this match, we'd expect Maharlika to slow things down now. Arenas passes it with side back. Gracia to Lucindo. now, Diego, it's an opportunity for them to calm things down a bit, take the momentum off from Valenzuela.
Yeah, they just need to slow the game down again because last 2 or 3 minutes has been kind of chaotic. And again, they fail to keep possession, so it's gonna continue to encourage Mendiola just to continue playing.
Ibrahim should be a bit careful with the tackles he's making. He is on a yellow. Great pass there. Ooh, taken down by Lucindo. No foul given. Play goes on there. Sulit looking for an open man. Cruising it in. Ah, disappointing there. As Fofana tried to get a ball through. Miscommunication lang doon.
Yeah, but again, that was a good moment from Mendiola, just starting to show a little bit more substance going forward. Again, it could have been more helpful if he did that earlier in the match, you know, when you weren't 2-0 down yet. But I think they'll be happy nonetheless because it's not something that we've seen too much of this season and this calendar year from Mendiola. Again, that was their first goal of the year.
Speaking of goals, Maharlika wants another with this attack. Foul has been given here at the right side of the pitch. Another dangerous area for Mendiola. Oh, quick play. The referee halts it. Spark behind the ball and his favorite, the left foot. We did see him earlier. Another free kick trying to score direct. Delivers it in. Keeper called into action. Maybe a chance for the counter. Bida. Out of traffic. He managed to get through. Great footwork. Chance on the counter here. Valenzuela switches it to the other side. Moving forward. Sulit. 1v1, passes it forward. An opportunity here. Crosses it in, but McLeod clears it. And shot taken. And finally, a corner kick. What a sequence of events there, Diego.
This match, or this first half even, getting a little bit feisty in the closing stages. I think there's actually 2 players from Mendiola down, but what a sequence here. They actually show some good attacking play here. That's good play from Obi. And he just asks a question of Dean Ebarli, and Ebarli's a bit scared actually to challenge because he's in the penalty area. Any challenge is going to bring down your man for a penalty. Good end to the first half for Valenzuela PV Mendiola. Who would have thought it after they went behind 2-0?
Hopes are really high for the men in red, and they do have additional 2 more minutes. Mo, makascore pa sila ng 1 more goal before the half ends. Definitely a favorable scoreline going into the second half. And they have the chance to do so with this corner kick. Delivers it in, low cross actually. But disappointing, that set piece. Sayang, they could have made something out of that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what he was trying there. I think it was probably a set play that was from the training ground, but it wasn't executed well. But I think they'll take being behind 2-1 at halftime better than what they thought it could have been at some points in that first half. Maharlika, again, they'll be a bit frustrated because they could have killed this game by now. In the end, the game is well and truly alive.
Great through ball, Park. On the right side, just try to pass it forward. Bit of miscommunication there. Counter na naman dito ang Mendiola. Just too strong of a control from Obi. They move here, the right flank, moving forward. Crosses it in, open man! Is it a goal? No! Another opportunity for Valenzuela. Just getting more and more exciting before the halftime ends. Muntik na.
Golden opportunity. This is a really good block from Lucindo. So he scored one and he's prevented one. Coming to his team's aid.
You can see the ball begging to be kicked into the net. And again, as you mentioned, Diego, Lucindo was there. Another corner here. And there you have it, halftime. And honestly, Diego, this is really surprising. We think that Maharlika going to the second half, they'd have more control, they'd be more dominant. But Mendiola, that goal really sparked something in this team.
Yeah, Maharlika were in a really good position to control the rest of this match. Again, it was a simple case of falling asleep at the back at the crucial point, and they went and conceded a goal. And ever since then, this match has been wide open. The scoreline of this first half could have been anything, but Valenzuela, PB, Mendiola will feel that it should be 2-2 at halftime. Really entertaining game. I'm hoping that the second half is gonna match the first.
With that said, we do have our halftime score here. Maharlika FC 2. Lucindo scoring at 30th minute. And Aristo Renas as well. Pero bumawi agad dito si Embida scoring the 39th minute for his respective team. So with that said, we'll see you in the second half. Good afternoon, everyone. We are back here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. My name is Vinny Vincolado alongside Diego Cordero. And Diego, let me tell you, what a surprising way to end the first half. It is Maharlika FC against Valenzuela PB Mendiola. And can I just say, Maharlika, who has dominated the first 30 minutes of the match, uh, suddenly Mendiola, out of nowhere, scores a goal and momentum shifting their way.
Yeah, again, it was such a controlled first 30 to 35 minutes from Maharlika. And then all of a sudden, it's a mistake at the back. And they concede a goal despite having most of the attacks and most of the possession of the first half. And when they conceded that goal, it just allowed Mendiola to wake up and start building on something that they didn't have. And yeah, all of a sudden, this match is wide open. Maharlika were in a really good position to control this game and to dictate the play for the whole second half even. But they couldn't hold on to their clean sheet in the first half. And, that just makes things interesting for the second half, especially for the neutrals, because, this game could still go either way if we're going to follow the trajectory of, how the first half ended. Very exciting stuff.
Now I'm curious, Diego, what will head coach Jake Wangkong say to his players in the Valenzuela side? I mean, they did score in that first half. They could have scored an equalizer maybe going just before the first half. But now in the second half, will they be more aggressive? Will they take more risks against Maharlika?
Well, before we even talk about the team, it looks like they've made 2 substitutions in the second half, but we'll confirm those later. But yeah, I'm sure the message would have been, we didn't start the game well, but we're in the game somehow. And the blueprint definitely has to be that last 10 minutes of the first half rather, and that has to be how they play the rest of the second half. Mendiola are a team that haven't won since the second match day, and that was a 1-0 victory over Philippine Army, and ever since then it's been constant losses. So, who would have thought that this could have been a good chance for them to get any point, really. But yeah, they have a chance here this afternoon.
Just to add, it is their first ever goal of this 2026. So, syempre, a lot of hope going on and a lot of momentum going on to the second half for the men in red. And on the other side, Diego, you do have Maharlika here. I'm expecting the game plan still the same. They want to control, dominate possession in going into the second half and score more goals maybe.
Yeah, in fact, the game plan worked really well because, to be honest, there's nothing really that the coaching staff can do game plan-wise to prevent that first goal. It was just simply a mistake, really, at the back. So, game plan-wise, I'm sure it's going to be more of the same. They're going to try to keep control of possession like this, try to really manipulate Mendiola into opening spaces and then exploiting those spaces with their technical players. That's how they scored their second goal. For Maharlika, it's just a matter of, staying awake the whole game, not falling asleep mentally, and keeping that concentration for the whole of the second half.
You see here a ball up high, Lucindo. Oh, let's judge that one. An opportunity here. Moving forward, Valenzuela. Cross into the middle. Oh! It's a goal! Golazo! Gets it in. That is Johan Imbida. Scores for his team. And it is now 2-2 against Maharlika. Diego, take me through how this goal came to be.
This is a excellent goal from Mendiola because it comes again from nothing. Again, Lucindo, who was the hero in the first half, he just loses that 50-50 duel to Obi, and really good play there. Embida, who's probably the player you need to watch closest. There's no one near him from Maharlika, so that will really frustrate the coaching staff of Maharlika because they've been really good in this match, but it's 2-2.
And that is just quite a shocker, actually. It is the 47th minute when they scored that one, just a few minutes after halftime. So a bit of a shock here for Maharlika.
Yeah, and they'll be so disappointed also at how easy that goal looked because, as I already mentioned, Embiid's the player you want to watch so closely. But again, it was just a clearance and then a 50-50 duel which Obi won. And then all of a sudden it's a goal.
And these are the opportunities that Valenzuela really has to maximize. And they took it really well. And it was also clever touch actually from Yon Imbida to get that one in.
That's right, that's right. Dino Tara is a really good goalkeeper, but he was just grounded, and all of a sudden, I still can't believe how this match has gone. Again, Maharlika, this should have been their bounce back day after 4 winless games. But all of a sudden, it could turn into the bounce back day for Mendiola naman, who, let's not forget, they haven't won in so many games. And this afternoon, it looks like their biggest chance to get their second win of the season.
A lot of question marks being asked the men in blue. And as you can see here, Mendiola moving forward with the ball. Just mispasses that as Aristo Renas launches a counter-attack. A foul given, and it seems like the referees actually not handing out a yellow card there. Oh. Yeah, it is a foul. A quick play here for Maharlika. Trying to sway the momentum of Mendiola. And we have an interesting rest of the match here, Diego. Both teams now fighting for a win. Oh, another foul there. This time it warrants a yellow card for Obi. Referee making sure everything's calm between the players. And Diego, the match is just getting more and more exciting.
It is getting more and more exciting. And, this match was completely dead at minute 30 or 35. Incredible, really, how goals change games. It's a cliche, obviously, but goals really do change games. And ever since that first goal from Mendiola, this match has...
Tuloy-tuloy na.
Yeah, and if you were to look at this match on its own without context, you wouldn't know the table standings. You wouldn't know that it's Maharlika fighting for a top 6 spot and Mendiola, near rock bottom of the table. It's incredible the way football matches can change.
But yeah, Maharlika here with a set piece. In a middle opportunity, just went past McLeod as Ibrahim puts it back in the dangerous area. Great keeping from Ali, who punched that away. And he is currently down off screen. An opportunity for Mendiola to reset a bit. But that could have been an opportunity for Mendiola to reset a bit. But that could have been another goal for Maharlika. See here, Ali, who's down on the ground, definitely got hurt in that play. You can see it here. McLeod chasing, passes it to Ibrahim. Ibrahim puts it in the dangerous area back again. A lot of 2 players actually on Ali. As he was brought down. And again, as mentioned by Diego earlier, they do not have any keepers in the bench. It's very crucial for him to get back up into his feet.
Yeah, it's not the first time that he's gone down in this match. But yeah, again, this match, next goal is completely open up for anyone to step up and take control of this match. Again, both of these sides are wanting to bounce back from the way they've started the year. It's pretty evident, actually, that they're so desperate for those 3 points, to get those first 3 points of the calendar year. Ali is back up on his feet, so sigh of relief for Mendiola. But again, as I was saying, because of how eager both of these teams are trying to play, it's becoming a really physical game as well. Do wonder, because both of these teams played last week, do wonder if fatigue will start to settle in. And again, both of these teams have to play hard games for their next game. I think, again, Maharlika have to travel to Cebu, and Mendiola have to face Aguilas. So both of these teams, they need the momentum sooner rather than later.
That note, you have here Maharlika now in possession of the ball. It has been shaky for Maharlika's defense, both McLeod and Lucindo. McLeod being chased by two forwards, was forced to clear it out. You could see the momentum before the half ended for Mendiola. They brought that same energy and intensity going into the early moments of the second half, and I think that's probably what got them the goal. We were really hopeful, kaya pa natin to, pwede pang bumawi. And that's still the story as of the moment.
Yeah, you just felt in that first half, there were moments where they were just not in the game, losing all of their duels and tackles. But they've stepped up, to be fair to them, and that's why the scoreline reads the way it does.
Good footwork there from Cho. But better defense there from Valenzuela. We do concede a corner kick. Maharlika, who's really good. Who's a really good side in creating set pieces. And we do see a sample here. A quick play, shot taken from Cho. You do not want to be caught sleeping here, especially when you're Valenzuela. Momentum is on your side. Other corner here. A dangerous area. Just too strong. And an opportunity. Makahinga naman dito ang Valenzuela.
And goalkeeper Ali, he's going to be no rush to take this goal kick. Again, it's about game management now for Mendiola. I even think that they would settle for a point, but at this point, it looks like they're going to go for that win. Just have to be really careful not to get so overzealous and happy with the fact that they've equalized, to fall asleep. Because Maharlika, despite the mistakes they've made in this game, you know, they're still quality players. So if you're Mendiola, if you in turn fall asleep, you will also get punished. Both of these teams need to keep that concentration now for the rest of the second half in order not to lose this match, because at the moment, this match is in a really vulnerable state of balance.
I mean, the win is up for grabbing for both of these teams. You can see here the play from Maharlika. Just miscontrols it. That crucial spot. A chance na naman dito. Mounter ang Valenzuela. Obi leading the charge. Runs being made forward. Will he find the right man? Delivers it in, but great defensive work from the Gracia. Throw in for Valenzuela.
Yeah, this is a complete contrast really to how they were attacking in the first half. You know, their first half attacks were a bit misguided and directionless, but in this second half, at least you can see there is a little bit more fluidity and chemistry and communication going forward. It's so simple, but it makes such a difference. And yeah, here we see a sub, so Maharlika really not happy with the way the second half has gone. Could actually see Fahmi Ibrahim, when he saw his number up, he dropped to the ground in frustration. So not an ideal afternoon for him, but it's been the story of the afternoon really for a lot of these Maharlika players after going up 2-0.
It's confirmed that is Jerome Marzan substituted in for Fahim Ibrahim. Of course, we do know Ibrahim is always hungry to contribute to games and score goals as well. Hence the disappointment when he got subbed off. Pero Maharlika's moving forward dito naman. Oh, great pass and a goal! It's in! No offside goal, and it is 3-2 Maharlika. Amazing goal there from the men in blue.
Yeah, again, Mendiola, they just fell asleep here. Untracked run from Kim, and to be fair to him, it's a really good finish. He saw the goalkeeper rushing out, so he just chipped it over. Does take a deflection, but it was already on target. Good goal from Maharlika. Good pass from Cho, who's been really good going forward. You could see that Kim just found a pocket of space to make that run into, and so frustrating for Mendiola because they clawed themselves back into this match, and they're gonna have to do it once more if they want any good result.
As mentioned earlier, the next goal is the most important one. Maharlika made sure in that attacking play, they converted that into that crucial goal. Now they lead 3-2. And another opportunity, maybe, deflected into the corner. What a turn of events here. But it seems like Maharlika's momentum is all in for them.
Yeah, this match has taken so many twists and turns, and once again, it's going to be Maharlika on the rise.
And we do have a set piece here. Delivers it in. Oh, beautiful play there. It was Kim at the end of that cross. Overhits it though. But we do have Valenzuela's keeper Ali in agony, in pain.
Yeah, he's down for the third time. Very, very concerning. But just before that play, again, Maharlika again beginning really to re-establish the control that they did lose in that spell of the match where they conceded. But actually, it's a really good chance, really, for Maharlika to get a fourth. You do imagine that if they do get a fourth, it would be such a big mountain to climb now for Mendiola, and it would kill the game completely. It was actually a really good chance. I'm quite surprised, really, that it wasn't put on target from Kim, who just scored. Mendiola just have to be careful, though, not to become so down after conceding that third goal, and not to play the way they did for the first 30 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be a repeat of what we saw in those opening exchanges. But again, it's still a one-goal game, and strange things have already happened in this match, so I would definitely not bet on this being the final scoreline.
Definitely. Mendiola still has a chance here to equalize. Game's not over. As Ali, who's up and ready again, who's taken a really bad beating this match. Pressure there from Cho. Ooh. I think that one hit the referee.
Not the best first touch from the referee.
Unintentional, of course, so they'll have to retake that one. There you go. Again, my name is Vinny Vinculado alongside Diego Cordero calling this match. We do have a match at Cebu. It's Dynamic Herb Cebu against Tuloy right now. And later on, mas maganda din ang laban. You have Kaya versus One Taguig. Very crucial match for both teams in terms of the standing that they have. Especially if you want to solidify yourself in the top four.
Yeah, and just speaking on the standings, it's so tightly contested. We got to see the table earlier on, but the race for the top six is still so unpredictable and wide open. The race for the championship, it's a four-way race at the moment. Very exciting stuff for the league. And then you also have the classification group, which will have teams trying to jostle it out come the third round. But yeah, I like the way that the league table is shaping up because it means that there's a lot of storylines that the Filipino fans can follow. Again, a win for Maharlika would put them back up to 5th, but again, they have so many more games played compared to their opponents, so it is a bit tough to predict who's in the best position at the moment.
They are winless this 2026 with their recent form. But with the scoreline that they have right now, seems like it's leaning towards a win, which will definitely help them, their momentum going into that top 6 spot. All they have to do is stay focused throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah, and again, because of the season that Maharlika have had, people might forget actually that, you know, this is their first season really trying to be a competitive team. In previous seasons, they'd be a bit on a lower part of the table, not really competing for honors, but this season it's been a different story. They're in the top 6 race. They're competing against big teams. They're not getting, you know, torn apart by those teams. The matches are close, and it's been a season of growth for Maharlika. Some growing pains, of course, but I think a positive nonetheless for them.
Definitely. I mean, there were a lot of changes for Maharlika coaches, the team, the players, management. And as you mentioned, birthing pains. I mean, it's not going to be smooth sailing for them in the season. But they can definitely bring what they learned here, bring it to the next season, and eventually they'll be more, you know, be solid in terms of the PFL teams who have been here longer. You know, the likes of Stallion, Kaya, mas matagal na sila, right? But right now, Maharlika is still trying to wiggle their way in the same leagues as them. But as of now, they do have a free kick to add to their lead. Keep it short. Cloud. Passes it to the substitute. Are the great through ball. Kim was just looking for John on the other side. Could have headed it in. Miss pass there. Finally, Mendiola can take breath as they have a goal kick.
Yeah, Mendiola, they've just lost that momentum now completely. The momentum that dragged them back into this match. They're going to have to find it somewhere again. It's a bit of a shame, actually, because it looked really promising once the second half started.
Had that spark with Mbida, that first goal. But can they find another spark here para makabawi against Maharlika? You mentioned, Diego, there's a bit of fluidity now in their passing. Moving the ball across the pitch, pushing into the attacking third. And they do have a throw-in now. Crosses it in, but nobody was home as Tara plays it fast on his winger. And Joe moving forward. Looking for Aristo Renas, finds him. Ooh, another good shot on target. But Ali was alert to that shot.
Yeah, Valenzuela, PB Mendiola, they're just starting to look a little bit stretched now in this second half. Again, I was mentioning earlier on this afternoon that fatigue could be a problem, and it looks like it's beginning to set in now for the red shirts. And you can just see that, you know, their sprints and their duels, they're not as intense as when they were putting themselves back into that match. I do wonder if the coaching staff is beginning to think about, you know, changes to the game plan and for substitutions.
Tried to thread the needle there to the goal scorer, Kim. Just couldn't find him. Good idea nonetheless. And as you mentioned, Diego, the game has died down a bit, especially with that third goal from Kim. But of course, if you are Maharlika, you want to make sure you secure that win with another goal.
I think the last thing Maharlika would want is for this scoreline to go all the way down to the last moment of the game, because it would mean that they can't kill the game. They have to exert 100% effort for the rest of this match. Again, their schedule is really congested, and they're up against Cebu next, and they have to travel. So, you know, they want to kill this game as early as possible so they can get that extra little bit of rest. Again, it does make a difference at the highest level. So it's up to them, really. They are in control of this match. They just can't fall asleep the way they did to concede the first 2 goals for Mendiola.
I mean, this is a game of football. You can turn the switch on any time, especially with a team like Mendiola, as we've seen in the first half. One goal can definitely change the entire trajectory of the game. But as you mentioned, Diego, we do see a couple of substitutions here for Maharlika. To have Opong
Substitution for
and
number 77.
Kang being put into the fray as Cho and De Gracia will rest for the rest of the match.
Is replaced by player number 3, Kang Bongso.
Makes it quick. Valenzuela. Great defensive work. Mendiola there. Got the counter. The men in blue. Sindo, good pass to Aristorenas. Aristorenas trying to flick that one in for the for Park.
Cover your board, cover, only cover, Gomez, cover.
Throw in here for Valenzuela's half. You can see how high the line is for Maharlika. This throw in, adding a lot of pressure. Hoping they can get possession from this throw in. And they do. Serena's tried to flick that one. Pass it over to Park. Couldn't find him. Good idea. We are 71 minutes into this match. Maharlika leading 3-2.
Yeah, this match really in a precarious state anyway. This match could still go anyway, because again, you just see that it's in these teams to make mistakes like that.
And a chance here, just outside the box. Takes it. Ooh. Could have taken more time. That he apologizes to his team. He did rush that shot, but again, Maharlika, a bit disappointing on the back end, because they are having the same mistakes again, you know, falling asleep, having lazy passes, bad passes that can cause them to concede a goal. You do not want to see that, especially in a match like this where it's only just a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, again, just as I was talking about the presence of that, you know, characteristic of making a mistake, it happens right before our eyes, and they're lucky that, you know, they don't get punished, and that Mendiola were not clinical in that scenario. Maybe they were just a little bit surprised that they actually got the ball back. But again, you know, for the rest of this match, Maharlika can't make a similar mistake.
Kang passes it back. Trying to recycle the play. Good pressure from Imbida. That is the goal scorer. Throw in. You can see Yon Imbida, who's put on the work, especially on the attacking front. You can see him getting a bit of cramps, fatigue setting in. But he is crucial to this Valenzuela squad. He has had most of the contribution to the attacking side of things.
Yeah, he single-handedly dragged back his team to this game. But I do wonder if the coaches of Mendiola are going to start to change it up a little bit. Again, they're sitting so deep whenever Maharlika have the ball that whenever they do get the ball, they have to make up such large distances for counterattacks that, you know, they start to get fatigued. I'm sure if the scoreline stays the way it does later on in the match, that the tactics could change.
And here is a cross. Great clearance. All still in a dangerous area. Shot taken from the substitute, Marzan. Just hits it. Too overpowered. But a good attacking play nonetheless. Goal kick here, Ali, urging his team to move forward. Kicks it in the middle of the park. I'll give it to Aristorenas. Plays it quick. Foot race with McLeod. Takes it. Oh, hits a crossbar. That was a golden opportunity for Obi. Could have been the equalizer. My goodness. What a fast play here. And it was McLeod and Obi in that foot race, and Obi just takes it on the volley. It was a good volley. It was just a tiny bit overpowered, Diego.
Yeah, I actually think McLeod defends that well. You know, he does what you're told to do as defenders growing up. Push him out wide, lessen the angle, use your strength, and he does that. But Obi just catches everyone off guard, including us, with the shot. And honestly, I think he'll be feeling unlucky that he doesn't score because it was a really good effort. And you saw that Dini Utara was at full stretch, and you saw that the goalkeeper was beaten.
That was a difficult shot to take, especially on a volley. So he'll be happy with that attempt. But he'll even be happier if he scored that one. Again, game's not over. Chance for Maharlika to slow things down. Who hits the referee? The referee, of course, give the possession to Mendiola, men in red.
Again, that last chance from Obi was just evidence to show that this lead is not safe at all for Maharlika, because all it takes is another chance like that. Even from a really unlikely and tough angle, there are still chances for Mendiola, and you saw already that they're willing to take those shots. For Mendiola, they'll be hoping that in these last 15 minutes or so that they at least get one more big opportunity and that they're able to take it.
And it's those fast plays that Valenzuela has to capitalize on. You have to catch Maharlika sleeping to score another one. And it's amazing how this game panned out. You'd think Maharlika would dominate this match. But clearly, it's a different story as Valenzuela tries to upset the men in blue.
Yeah, again, I think a lot of this has also come down to the fact that Maharlika are missing the presence of Mike Menzi, who's their captain as well. Before this weekend, he's the player in the PFL with the most minutes out of all the PFL players, and He was rested today, but I'm sure his presence in the backline would have helped out.
And another player here is Kenry Baloba, who sat this one out. As Utara fills up the boots in between the sticks for this match. Sindo tries to give it over to his winger. Kang, too much power with that. Roughly around 15 more minutes into this match. It is Maharlika 3, Valenzuela 2. And Maharlika get that win? Or will Valenzuela upset their opponent in their race to get into top 6? Ooh. Ball bouncing around there. Finally put down by Marzan to McLeod to Lucindo now. It moved from Kang. It's too much traffic. He gets a foul for his team.
I do wonder, as this game approaches the late stages, if Maharlika at some point are just gonna start defending a little bit deeper, defending a 1-goal lead, or if they're gonna keep that all-out attacking philosophy, because both of those approaches do come with their pros and cons. But again, this match is at such a precarious state that anything can happen, and I do wonder if the coaches of Maharlika are gonna adjust a little bit to the uncertainty that's definitely within this game.
Looking at it, they are going for another goal here. Oh, beautiful strike. As you just mentioned, Diego, we're moving forward with the ball, and it is Opong who gets that safety net for his respected team. Passes it to Opong, and Opong just looks up, picks his spot. What a powerful strike. Bottom left side of the goal frame. Beautiful, beautiful goal.
Yeah, and Opong, he was subbed in with the goal of shoring things up, and he ends up being the insurance goal scorer. What a goal that is from quite a long distance, but he was left alone by the opposition midfield, it must be said. And again, if you're going to leave a player of that quality alone and with time and space to take a shot like that, you know, he will at least get it on target. And did he get that on target? Really good goal. Excellent strike of the football. Got it really well. Hit it with his laces, head over the ball, and the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. And yeah, they'll be happy, Maharlika, that, you know, 10 minutes to go until full time, that they've reestablished the 2-goal lead that they already had earlier on. But it's parity restored for the shirts in blue.
And there is a yellow card given to the goal scorer for today's match on Maharlika's end, Kim. We'll be a bit more careful now towards the end of this match in terms of tackling, of course. A free kick here for Valenzuela. They can get another one to just get back into this game. Cristal passes it back to his defense. Ali sends it forward. Looking for Imbida. Loose clearance there, a lot of uncertainty. But Utara claims it. The intention to calm things down for his team.
I just think that 4th goal for Maharlika, it's just knocked out Mendiola and calmed things down Maharlika will be happy with that because, again, their next game is a away day at Cebu, so you'll be able to ever so slightly, relax. Don't have to exert maximum effort for the last 10 minutes of this match. Again, another plot twist to this match. What a match it has been. Very entertaining to start the weekend. Again, only our first out of the 5 matches this weekend, so still a lot of action for fans to enjoy, but this one has definitely been a really good match.
This has been a very interesting match. And speaking of action, Diego, there will be more action later on. Do tune in for that match. You have Kaya FC against Juan Taguig, heavyweights in the PFL, of course. That is later at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium.
That match is going to be very entertaining because it's first place versus second place. Both teams with new signings and with title aspirations. So do definitely stay tuned for that match. Or if you're here in Manila, you can still make it back all the way to Rizal Memorial Stadium. Go ahead. But yeah, that match is going to be a really good game.
Just waiting. I think it is Fofana. It's being asked. Oh, substitution rather. For Valenzuela. EB Mendiola. It is 26. Ali be substituted in. Add a little bit more, inject more pace up front as Fofana, well, I'm assuming, really cast out the ending moments of this match. Great touch there from Kim, the goal scorer. Keeps the ball despite the pressure. Barle. Aristorenas. Great passing from Maharlika. Big possession. Aristorenas chasing for it. Thomas was there to clear it. And we do have more substitutions. Para sa Maharlika naman, I see Charlie Beaton, who scored actually the last match against Stallion. He's also a new transfer player for Maharlika. You also have Julian Romero being substituted in.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an early rest for Aristorenas and Park, 2 usual starters. Again, they've played so many games already in 2026 that you need to manage their minutes. Don't overuse them if you're the coaching staff because it's a very long season. Still so many games to be played in a short amount of time. So I'm sure the physios also would have recommended that you give certain players rests. And yeah, coaching staff, because of the scoreline, are privileged to be able to make those subs.
And Aristorenas, who's had an excellent game. He's always present in that middle area. Oof. Shot taken again from Opong, looking to add more goals into his tally. And that is Ethan on your screens earlier, who had an impressive performance in this game against Stallion in their last match last week.
Yeah, Beaton, really smart signing for Maharlika because he's got so much experience across different teams in the PFL, the likes of Loyola, Stallion. And yeah, he will add a lot of experience to that team. It's a pretty young team also, so they could do with that experience and age and wisdom from him, which he definitely does have. He did show it against Stallion with that goal. And he adds a really good character to the locker room of Maharlika.
And Valenzuela giving everything into this match. This free kick. The foot race. Ooh, great control there. But Vida trying to get a control of that. Clearance from Kang. And a foul given. Almost at full time here. Maharlika leading 2 goals against Valenzuela. And another substitution here for Valenzuela. Seems like Obi sit out the rest of the match, who also performed well for his team. He did have that golden opportunity to equalize when it was 2-3. That volley hit the crossbar earlier.
Is replaced by player number 13, Sean Davis.
Sean Davis substituted in. Save from Udara.
Yeah, good performance overall from Maharlika in general, other than those spells where they just fell asleep, which is a trend really that the coaching staff is going to have to eliminate, especially if they're going to charge for that top 6 finish and play in that championship round. But again, the most important thing at the moment, because of how tight the table is the scoreline and the points that you're going to get. And Maharlika, for the first time this season, they're going to get maximum points from a game. So there's reason to be happy, but still a lot of room for improvement.
And same can be said with Valenzuela. I mean, I mean, on paper they will lose this game, but they got their 2 goals into this match. So definitely a positive on that end, despite the result.
Again, something to build on, even though the result was not ideal for a team like Valenzuela PB. They do have matches in the PFL which they will have encircled in their calendar as winnable, quote-unquote. One of those matches against the likes of Tuloy, maybe Philippine Army and Don Bosco. So they can still increase their points tally later on in the season. They need to really emulate that performance they had around from minute 35 to the second half, or the first part of the second half. So there's definitely something in this team to build on. It's just for the majority of the match, they just surrender too much control to their opponents, and that's a trend also. So that's, unfortunately for them, it's continued into 2026.
I think we're going for head coach Jake Waikong. I mean, the Valenzuela, Mendiola transfer window has had a lot of changes. A lot of adjustments to be made. But again, positive signs that they've scored their first 2 goals in 2026. The yellow card given to Dine Barle, who actually has the captain band now. And he's pleading his case with the ref. That's not enough for a yellow card.
Yeah, probably not the best time to get a yellow card. There's only 3 minutes left in this match. You have a secure scoreline. You're in the middle of the pitch where nothing dangerous is going to happen. So not ideal to get a yellow card. And again, these do add up in the season. They do accumulate. So every yellow card is not ideal. That won't change the result, but gives a chance actually to Mendiola to send everyone forward.
We do have additional 4 more minutes for the extra time. Trying to chip that over. It's a dangerous pass back, but Utara cleared it. Calmly collected by Ali. Good work there, as Beaton was really running for that. Ball up in the air. Finds McLeod. Oh, foul given. Kim moving forward the left side. Referee finally halts. Ironically, I mean, the score is already set, but the match is still intense.
Yeah, a couple of challenges from Mendiola. I think those challenges really are just embodiment of their frustrations. And you do understand why they are frustrated because, you know, they were 2-0 down and the match was going one direction and all of a sudden they drag it back to 2-2. And then they go behind again, but they had the chance to equalize as well. More than one chance actually for the 3-3 scoreline. They couldn't take any of those chances. And Maharlika professional enough to kill the game with that fourth goal.
In the fans of Valenzuela, I think they're just thinking sayang. I think sayang is the word for them coming into this match. The way the results have panned out. But again, these are positive. You can take a couple of positives here as they prove that they can score in matches like these. Maharlika now keeping possession. Just winding down the clock at this point. Ooh, great pass at the wing. Ethan. Very speedy. That wing side. Tracking back as well. But he fouls one of the defenders. Stal. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Maharlika wins this match against Valenzuela PB Mendiola. It is 4-2. And what an amazing match, Diego. Honestly, I thought that it was going to be a very dominant first half of Maharlika and bring that energy all the way to the second half. But Valenzuela, they have a fight in them. They have heart. And they just really have to they really have to maximize their opportunities the way that they did with their 2 goals.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining game overall. Enough positivity from both sides to make this a really high-scoring game. 6 goals, really fascinating encounter. But I think in the end, the quality of Maharlika just won out in the end. However, they were made to work really hard because of this comeback from Mendiola. Here was that one that made it 2-2, really great goal. So you can see that Mendiola have something in their team that makes them a hard team to play against in certain spells of games. The question for them is now whether they can maintain that for a whole 90 minutes, which is another thing altogether. For Maharlika naman, actually, same trends continue. They fall asleep at certain moments and they get punished, but at the same time, they were professional enough to take all 3 points this afternoon. So it will be a happy afternoon in the end for them as they go back into the top 6 momentarily, at least.
I think both teams have a lot of learnings into this match. And despite the result, I think both teams will be happy. Valenzuela PB Mendiola scoring their first 2 goals in this season. Maharlika getting their 3 points. And it was very entertaining, to say the least. So with that said, we still do have another matchup. It is Kaya versus Wantagig later at 7 p.m. So do stay tuned for that. Again, my name is Vinny Vinculado alongside Diego Cordero. We are PFL.
Real tough game today, but you got all 3 points. What are your thoughts on today's game?
So today game, first of all, I'm happy with the 3 points. Thank you for all our family and friends who came out to support today. But other than that, the performance, I think we could have done better defensively. I think it was just the small lapses what caused us to make those mistakes. I think we should have done better by keeping a clean sheet that game. But other than that, happy with the 3 points.
First win of the year, so are you happy with the fact that you've finally gotten 3 points?
Yes, finally to get the 3 points, but I think we were hard done by last 3 games because they were all tough games amongst the top teams. But we keep ourselves strong and we finally got the result going forward.
And last, do you have any message to the fans of Maharlika?
Message to fans of Maharlika, thank you guys for always supporting us. Your support goes unnoticed and we hope you continue to support us right to the end of the season. Thank you all. Good. Thank you.
Any